Hey everybody, Big Anklevich, author, podcaster, and carnivore. Welcome to the update for week 7 of how things are going in my weight loss journey to One-derland. First of all, we've got my daily reports, which aren't really daily this time around, but here's me talking about how it went while I was on vacation. How did it go? I'm finally back, but how did the rest of my vacation go? Take it away, Big Anklevich. All right, so I'm still on vacation. We're almost back home. Today is Sunday morning. We're halfway home on the drive. Everybody's still upstairs asleep in our hotel room here, but I woke up. I don't know what my deal is. I haven't been able to sleep in at all despite being on vacation. Anyway, let me give my rundown of what I've been doing. So right after I weighed in and did my last video on Tuesday, I had some breakfast. We'd actually gone out to Costco because, we had my sister putting us up and everything. I thought, what, let's pitch in as much as possible. So we went to Costco, we bought some eggs and some bacon, and she also had us get tri-tip for dinner that night. My sister's really accommodating. She's really nice. When she found out what I was doing with my diet, she really wanted to make sure that I would still feel, a part of the group, and that I wasn't just eating whatever leftovers or something like that there was. So yeah, I had bacon and eggs for breakfast that morning, and then that evening I had some tri-tip steak, and they also did some barbecue chicken, so it was really good. And I went on to another fast. So Wednesday, I fasted the whole day through, and let me tell you, the whole time that I was on vacation, fasting was a little bit difficult because I had a tendency to be going out to meet people who wanted to eat together. That is kind of a pain in the butt because everybody wants to eat as the thing that they do while you get together and hang out. Eating together isn't so awesome when only one of you is eating. So a lot of times people didn't want to go to eat, and they would be like, "Oh, you're not eating? Oh, well, I don't want to eat." I kept having to really try and force people to do it, to be willing to eat in front of me, even though all I was doing was drinking a glass of water. But it worked out for the most part. I fasted all day Wednesday, and then Thursday I met a friend of mine for breakfast in the morning, a friend that I hadn't seen in a while. We got together and hung out. I was telling him all about the stuff that I've been eating and my diet and all that kind of thing. It seems to me like he might be well on the way to becoming a vegan. So maybe I saved him. Anyway, yeah, we hung out, and I actually ate a little bit of the bacon that we'd gotten at Costco before I left, just in case. I didn't know what might be in store for me at the restaurant. I wound up getting sausages, bacon, and eggs. Basically, I got a side of each of these things as my meal. It was all good, and I was plenty full by the end of the meal, especially since I'd already eaten a whole bunch of bacon before I went. And then that night, we had I would say it was a barbecue, but what we actually did was we prepared pulled pork and then took it out with us to a park, and I guess we had a picnic. It's the best way to put it. We had our 4th of July picnic at this park, and the pulled pork, my wife left it unsauced for me, so I had a whole bunch of pulled pork that didn't have sauce in it, and if I remember right, I think I got a bag of, they weren't even pork rinds, they were pork cracklins. I don't know if you know what the difference is, but pork rinds apparently is just the pork skin, whereas pork cracklins is pork skin and the fat that is attached to the skin. So I guess they're the more fatty version of pork rinds. I ate those. I wanted to fit in, and have chips like everybody else. So that's what I had for my meal. So a bunch of pulled pork, that hadn't been covered in barbecue sauce just yet, whereas everybody else put barbecue sauce in theirs. And I had some pork cracklins, which, you know, those were pretty good, and I wound up getting a bag of them for myself for later. We got hit by this crazy weird storm while we were there, and it blew down a bunch of the branches on the trees, and we ran for it. We were up in the canyon. We headed down the canyon and went to the fireworks display on the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you're having a great holiday, and I'm fasting, so my holiday's over. At least I got to eat some on the 4th of July, though. Woo! Okay, so yeah, after the 4th of July, I started fasting, or during the 4th of July, I guess, because once our dinner meal was over, I started fasting. All day Friday, I fasted, and it was okay. It was a little difficult, more difficult than usual. My whole family went out to this pizza restaurant that was in the old hometown that I lived in before we moved to Houston, called Village Pizza. And we used to go there a lot, and I liked it, and I had to sit there and just drink water while everybody else had pizza after pizza. I mean, there was a lot of pizza. There was a lot of people at our table too, but there was a lot of pizza there, and I just had to look at it. It's hard to deal with that kind of stuff. What do you say to yourself? Luckily, I've been doing this for 6 weeks, and I've seen lots of progress. And so I feel pretty confident in the fact that it's totally worth it. I think I may kind of be past the point that I'm seriously tempted, but I really like pizza, and I really like that place. And to just sit there and watch everybody else eat while I didn't, it was a little tough. I felt a little left out, I have to admit, but I guess I earned it. You know what I mean? I ate plenty of Village Pizza in my day. I'm still wearing it around my waist, so maybe that's just what I have to think about to be able to deal with it. I don't know. Anyways, I made it through all of Friday, fasting again, and then Saturday morning it was time to go. My sister and her husband made us a nice breakfast before we rushed out the door. We wanted to get out as early as possible, and it was about 7:30 when we got out the door. They made us some bacon and some eggs, and for those who were eating that kind of stuff, they also made crepes. I was not one of those, of course, so I didn't have any of the crepes. And then we got in the car and we headed out, and I was really full. But it's weird when you're driving long distances, you just have this urge to eat while you're sitting there in the car. It's like the snacking urge, and I think it's just got something to do with just how bored you tend to be when you're just sitting there in a car and driving and driving and driving and driving, and the scenery is just going by and it all looks exactly the same, and it's just dull. And everybody around me was, you know, chomping away at this and that and the other thing. And we went a couple of hours before I gave in and joined them. What I wound up doing was eating another bag of those pork cracklins, which are, you know, they're not bad. I would have said they were the grossest thing in the world a few years ago, but I've had them and they're not bad. My family doesn't like them. They think they smell bad. Whatever, I don't care. Their crap smells bad if you ask me. It smells like they had these chips that smelled like terrible freaking, the powder that you make mac and cheese out of, just that nasty powdery gunk that they call cheese sauce. That's actually chemical sauce, the factory sauce, whatever you want to call it, just gross. So I had my pork cracklins, and in the bag of our food that she'd gotten, there was also some cheese. And is there anything else I could eat in that bag? Oh, that's what I got. I stopped at a gas station along the way, and I said, you know what, I'm getting myself a hot dog. So I got myself one of their hot dogs, and I ate that, and then I had some several pieces of the cheese that we had. Much more cheese than I've eaten up until now. And that really got to me. My wife was driving a little while after that, and I was getting this phlegm up in my throat. I was just like, I kept having to clear my throat, and I felt like I was choking on this stuff as I was trying to take a nap so that I could drive the next shift. And it was really bugging the heck out of me, and the whole time I kept thinking, what was it? Because I'd had cheese before, and I was just wondering, what was it that caused that? And afterwards I was talking with my wife about it, and she's like, you ate a lot of cheese. Like, seriously, that was so much cheese. Like, oh my gosh. I didn't think I'd eaten that much, but apparently I'd eaten more than my fair share. I guess I can't overdo it on cheese. That's one thing that I've learned. That's one of the things about carnivore that's cool, is it's the ultimate elimination diet. You get rid of everything that maybe you shouldn't be eating, and then you find out little by little as you reintroduce it. You find out if you really have an issue with it or not, because it'll show up. So that's thing number one that I found out. I can do dairy. I actually had fears that I had issues with dairy before, because I had been eating almost carnivore. Well, I guess it was basically carnivore, except for that I was eating cheese, like plenty of cheese. And I've always been the type that overdoes cheese. So eating all that cheese was giving me that phlegm in my throat, and now here I am with it back again after I had eliminated it by just eating plain carnivore. So now I know I can have some cheese, but I need to keep it to a minimum or else it's going to affect me. So yeah, it's now Sunday morning. We got another day to drive home. We've got the in-hotel free breakfast thing that they give, and sometimes those are good and sometimes they suck, as I learned last week. So we shall see. Hopefully they've got plenty of bacon and eggs that I can eat at the very least at this breakfast. So I'm gonna have that, and then we're gonna drive the long drive home. It is now Monday night. Been fasting for, I don't know, 28, 29 hours, something like that. Yesterday on Sunday was my last day on the vacation, driving back. Woke up and had some good breakfast at the hotel. It was a little weird. I don't know. I'm wondering if I actually got actual eggs out of that or not. My wife was saying, oh yeah, they're dried, reconstituted eggs or whatever, which I can totally believe, because if you look at the container that they were in, there was a bunch of water in it. Water is not necessary for cooking eggs unless they're hard-boiled eggs, and these were not hard-boiled eggs. They appeared to be scrambled eggs. So I'm wondering if I got fooled into eating some carbs that I didn't want. Maybe I ruined my progress by eating that. Otherwise, they had sausage, and I had a bunch of sausage, and that was good. And I did put some cheese on my eggs, despite the fact that I think cheese is what gives me that phlegm in my throat that I've been having issues with since I brought cheese back in. I think I can get away with a little bit of cheese, not a bunch. I didn't eat that much for breakfast yesterday, so probably okay as far as that goes. And now the other trouble is that cheese seems like you can eat too much of it really easy. That's the one good thing about eating fat, is that you get full when it's time to quit. But if it's something really small like cheese, you can possibly overdo it. And that used to be a problem that I had. I used to eat way too much cheese. And I think dairy might have a little bit more carbs in it than just plain old meat. So yeah, I had some cheese, some eggs, and some sausages for breakfast. That was pretty good stuff. Made me happy. I was good and full when we left. Of course, several hours later, everybody started into their snacking as we were driving, which was annoying. And eventually I'm like, you know what, screw it. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to get myself some pork rinds, and I'm going to snack along with them. And so that's what I did. I got pork rinds, and I snacked along. And I got to stop that. I think I won't be doing pork rinds. There's really not a point to them when you can eat from home. They could be fun, I guess, to bread something, like make chicken McNuggets, but keto chicken McNuggets. Use those things all crunched up as breading, but I don't need that. So I probably won't be doing much in the way of pork rinds in the future. It's weird because I'm not a pork rind person. I've hardly ever eaten them. I've probably eaten more pork rinds in the last 2 weeks than I ever have in my entire life, all combined. So that'll probably be the end of that, at least for a while. Eventually, it got to be like 5 o'clock or so last night, and I said, you know what? I need to eat dinner and get to my fast here. And nobody else was hungry. They were all eating ice cream and just rubbing my nose in it. You know how people who do that are. And I went just across the street to the Burger King and figured I'd get something there. And I got I want to say it was called a triple stacker king or something like that. Unfortunately, I forgot to say, hey, listen, can I get that without sauce? And so when it came, it had some kind of sauce on top of it that I could not separate from the rest of the stuff. So I ate some sauce, and I'm willing to bet that sauce also had carbs. So how much did I screw myself over yesterday? I don't know. Did I kill my ketosis? Did I already do that before? I don't know. All right, so there you have it. We got back on Sunday night, and now it's Tuesday morning, and it's time to weigh in. And let's go see how I did. Did vacation ruin me? $262.7, which is 0.5 more than I was last week. It's a little disheartening, a little discouraging, I have to admit, but I think that there could be a lot of reasons behind that. It could be just because I've come down in altitude or something, and you know, I'm bloated from water that I have held on to while I was up there, and now that I'm back to normal, maybe it'll steadily come off me. I don't know. The good thing is I didn't really gain weight. I was 266 when I left on vacation, and I came back at 262. So while only one of the weeks was a successful week, I did at least lose weight overall. And now I'm back to it, and I think there's some things that I've learned that maybe I need to skip. Pork rinds, probably one of those. Okay, so I didn't make my goal, and that's the first time that I haven't done that so far, which is, it's a little discouraging, but I'm going to keep at it. I'm going to actually lower my goal by a pound. We're going to say 258 is my goal for this upcoming week, because I just have a good feeling about what's going to happen this week. I think I'm going to get rid of some of the weight that I have for some reason held on to from last week, and then some. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I want to get down into 250. It almost feels like it puts me halfway to Wonderland. It kind of does. Maybe when I get to 250, then I'm halfway. But anyway, I'm going to keep at it. Keep doing carnivore. I'm going to keep fasting every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. We're going to beat this. I'm going to go all the way. It's Wonderland time for me. So there you go. I'll be back again next week with another update, folks. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you again next week.